happy Friday. If you are tuning into this Mavens of Manufacturing, please be sure to drop a comment in the comment section to let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you have any questions throughout the conversation, feel free to drop those in the comments as well. I am really excited for this conversation because I am a huge fan of virtual reality. And recently I just went to an arcade with my boys and they had a virtual reality video game there. And it was kind of weird because I've never done it before, but it was really interesting to see how they connected it to reality. And it was just, yeah, it was a fun experience. So to see it entering into engineering and manufacturing, it's really an exciting time to be in this sector. And I'm super excited to have Revathi with us today. She is from Aatral. And hello, Revathi, how are you doing today?
Yeah, hi, Megan. Good morning. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm super excited to have you here with us. Where are you tuning in from? Are you in India right now?
No, I'm in US, San Ramon Bay.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm super excited to hear more of your story and about Aatral and the things that you guys are doing to help really improve safety training within engineering and manufacturing. So can you just start off by, introducing yourself and giving us like a brief background of how you ended up in engineering and manufacturing and what you're passionate about within the sector?
Yeah, sure. And first of all, thanks, Mehan, for this opportunity. It's a pleasure to be part of this episode 214 of Mavens of Manufacturing. And you are doing a great job in showcasing women in manufacturing. So it's such an honor to be here. And,
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And to come to my background, like I did my computer science and engineering, and I worked in IT industry for 18 plus years. Okay, and the moment I started working with virtual reality is way back in 2018. Like virtual reality was introduced to me by my brother, who is the CEO and founder of Aatral. Okay. He showed me a HoloLens. So he showed an application using that, and I was fascinated by that experience. From that moment onwards, like I used to work with my brother, like I helped with him for testing his applications. Since my background is quality assurance in IT industry, so I was able to guide him in setting up the testing strategy for virtual reality. And then since I am in US, I used to help him out in setting up certain events and demos for my brother. So that is why I was constantly in touch, seeing the use cases and the impact it is creating in India, like based upon our client experience and the employees' engagement we are seeing. I thought it will be a good use case for the US market also. Seeing the current economic conditions, right? Like manufacturing is a key focus, and I feel this is the right time for this technology to help out in the workforce development. So I started working for business development expansion for Aatral in US.
I think that's really cool that you're working with your brother. I'm the youngest of 6, but I don't know if I could ever work with any of my family members because we're very opinionated individuals. But I think that's cool that you're helping spread the news in the US market. So with immersive training and action, what exactly does virtual reality, compared to traditional methods of training? What does it offer? Like, what are some of the advantages over traditional methods of training, especially within engineering and manufacturing?
When you talk about traditional trainings, I see there are 4 major issues. One is it is less engagement to the employees. For example, when we are going to the e-learnings, even you would have gone to certain e-learnings. So the people just complete it for the sake of doing. So it is less engaging. And the hands-on experience which is given as part of the traditional training is very minimum. So it doesn't make the worker or the employee confident in the actual workplace. And the third item is there is no individualized tracking and behavior analytics. I think behavior change is a key aspect for manufacturing to improve the productivity and take it to the next level. So that tracking is not available in traditional training. And the fourth one is there is no real life simulations, because we give the training in a certain aspects, but when he goes into the actual field, the work might not be the same way in what key is trained for. There'll be a lot of ad hoc situations, and key will not know how to react or manage the situation without SME guidance or someone helping him out. So these are the issues I see in traditional training, which can be overcome with virtual reality. And some of the major advantages, maybe I can list down some top 5 advantages of using a virtual reality. The first one is the current workforce will be like around 50% of the employees is going to be Gen Z employees. The Gen Z employees, like they are very less engaged and distracted. And virtual reality trainings, it will be a kind of attraction to bring those people into manufacturing sector. So that is one main advantage I'm seeing of virtual reality training compared to traditional trainings. And the second one is the behavior analytics and the tracking capabilities, which is available using virtual reality training. So since we can track all the actions the user is performing in the simulated environment, it's easy to give a customized analytics for the user, and we know like where is the real skill gap, and recommend trainings according to that. So it gives a more personalized training approach, which is not possible in a traditional training. And the third thing is the employees can practice in a risk-free environment. Like he can make mistakes and he can learn out of it, which is not possible in traditional training. And the fourth one is like this is not a kind of a replacement for traditional trainings. I would say it's kind of an add-on. So we don't replace the traditional training. So what cycle we recommend is first they undergo the traditional classroom trainings, but the duration will be a shorter duration. It not be 3 or 4 weeks of training which is required. Then he'll be put into a virtual training, virtual reality or extended reality-based training. So this helps him to practice what he learned in the theory classes, and then he'll be put into a practical hands-on training. So now the hands-on training period will be very less, and this helps in improving the productivity, and the user can start working immediately after the training or the onboarding. So this is one of the key advantage which we see. So this is one of the key points. It doesn't replace the traditional training. It's add-on advantage to that.
I really think it's interesting that you guys are able to track how they are progressing through the training sessions. And I think that is a huge advantage, because then, like you mentioned before, you can offer that personalized training to each individual. And then you can kind of gauge too if maybe they will be a successful employer, or maybe they might need to pursue some other type of career if they're really bad at it. But also too, like, you don't want to damage any equipment. And we're going to be showing a video later on with a crane, and some of these machineries and the equipment within engineering and manufacturing is very expensive. So you want to avoid crashing it or destroying it at all possibilities, so you're not having to reinvest in that expensive equipment. So I think it's very interesting that virtual reality is helping decrease that risk of damaging any machinery or equipment. Are you guys working with any schools anywhere? Because I know one of the things about training specifically within the engineering and manufacturing sector is that there seems to be a disconnect on what we're teaching students in the academic level versus to what's actually happening on the shop floor. Are you connected with any educational institutions and like having this type of technology within the classroom setting?
Yeah, we do those kind of trainings also. Like we try to work with some of the colleges or CTE schools, which provide skill-based trainings. And also like there is we did a particular training with a company called L&T. So they have a skill development center for construction employees. So that is called PTSI. So we were doing the skill evaluation for them using virtual reality. Whatever skills they learned, right, that evaluation was done in virtual reality. And this was a very successful program. More than 5,000 employees were trained out of it. And recently they won an award for training and using the augmented reality technology for this kind of trainings. They won a Brandon All Gold Award, and this was a great honor for us.
That's really cool. Well, congratulations on that. With the companies that you've worked with, how have they responded to this type of training, and what sort of feedback do you hear the most often from the people that are using this type of training?
Yes. So from the we take regular feedbacks from the employees as well as the management with whomever we are working on. So what we are seeing is there has been an increase in adherence to safety procedures. So that one of our customers, like we did a product for Toyota, and they said there has been 50% increase in safety adherence after implementing our technology. So that is they are following the PPE requirements properly after undergoing these trainings. So that was one great feedback, as well as the employee engagement. The employees were fully focused and engaged in the trainings, and because of that, they were giving a feedback that they are able to retain the knowledge which they gained out of the training to many months. In fact, that the retention knowledge because of virtual reality training is 70% more compared to traditional forms of trainings.
I think that's a really good point that you just made, because there's some individuals that retain information better when it's hand-on experience and visually as well too. Like I remember when I worked at a cutting tools factory, when I was going through the training in the shipping department, they gave us these big textbooks of like information and like had all of the procedures and things that we needed to know. And I just like sort of tuned it out, and I was like, this is so boring. How am I going to remember any of this? And I think with virtual reality, at least you're in the mix.
Yeah. And also when you went to the actual workplace, you might not have been confident for the first few days, right? You were not able to go through the material properly, and it was boring.
Yeah, and it's embarrassing too when you make a mistake, because it's like everybody's like, oh, it's the new guy that made the mistake and messed up. So I like that it's helping with confidence as well. You mentioned before, like with Generation Z, like this is something that they are attracted to, and it really brings them into the workforce. Are there any other differences between the generations that you've noticed in how employees are adapting the technology? So like with baby boomers or Gen X or even millennials, are there differences in how they're adapting to the technology?
Yes, sure. Absolutely. We have been training employees across different age groups. It's not just Gen Z employees. We work with baby boomers who are the main key decision makers. So we have to give them the training also to understand what exactly we are doing. So it is also diversified. Men, women, everyone take this training, and we have been seeing they are able to complete the training, and it's very easy for them to complete the training because we are using hand tracking mechanism compared to other virtual reality companies or other trainings available in the industry. So you don't have no need to have a separate learning curve for using the devices like Oculus devices like this. Since it's all hand tracking, you don't have the console at your hand. That is not required. So with hand gestures itself, you can mimic the real life situation. It's like, for example, an employee is doing a work at scenario, and he is practicing whether he is following all the safety protocols properly when he is going to do a work at job. So it is all hand tracking. Like it will be like climbing a ladder. Like we just hold the ladder like this only in the virtual reality. So it will be like mimicking the actual real life scenario. So it is easy for anyone to use. They know there is no need to worry about this is some new technology which they are not aware of. That is the advantage. And till now we have trained around 30,000 plus employees in various manufacturing companies. Yeah, so that's a huge.
Awesome.
Yeah, and these are people like blue collar employees who are from who didn't even complete the schooling. Some were school dropouts, and some were they are very high education background. So everyone was able to handle this technology with ease.
That's awesome. I know with like newer technologies, there's some resistance, especially with like buy-in. So can you give us some information on like what sort of barriers you had to face in terms of getting buy-in from some of the customers that you're working with? Like what were some of their hesitations into implementing this into their processes?
This is one of the major issues which we face, and we are trying to learn from our experience working with these kind of situation. One thing is some of the key decision makers still they are old school types, so they are very resistant to change and they don't want to try new technologies. So that is one of the major challenge which we face with respect to manufacturing industries. The second one is in terms of budgets, especially for safety trainings, right? The budget assigned for training the employees is very less. Safety is the very important aspect, which is very important for the employee as well as for the organization, in terms of revenue as well as productivity. But the budget, if you see, which is assigned for these trainings is very less. And to get a budget for virtual reality trainings, convincing them is a big challenge for us. The next one is there is always a constant comparison with respect to e-learnings. I feel you can't compare apple to apple with e-learnings and virtual reality trainings. Creating an e-learning is quite simple, and there are a lot of AI tools which are available to create these trainings. But when we are going to create a content for virtual reality, it involves a lot of team coordinations. Like we need to create all the content. Like we go and scan the factory and create a 3D asset out of it, and our developers work to make all interactions. So you can't just compare a traditional e-learning with respect to virtual reality. That is one major challenge we face. And other thing is we get the feedback. The technology is good. We like what we are seeing, but what data you are showcasing, how you are justifying it. For certain areas, we can justify the data because we have been tracking it and we have the analytics. But if it's a completely new field, for example, we have not done much scenarios in mining, but so I can't provide as much data for mining industry. So in those cases, like we don't have enough data to support what we are saying. So these are the major buy-in issues we are facing.
So how do you approach your messaging to really build trust with your customers and really convince decision makers that VR is the right investment for them?
Yeah. So before coming to it, I would say about a recent survey which was done for US manufacturing company CEOs. There were around 600 manufacturing CEOs were surveyed for virtual reality technology. Virtual reality, or we can see as a bigger term of extended reality, which includes VR, AR, and MR technologies. So when they did the survey of 600 CEOs, 86% of them say like there is a behavior change requirement needed for manufacturing industries to improve the productivity. And also 1/3 of the CEOs agree virtual reality will be able to address this issue. So if you see the key decision makers, now they have the idea, and even they are also thinking like virtual reality will benefit and improve their productivity in for the manufacturing industries. So now we are seeing the trend, like convincing the decision makers is becoming a lot easier because they do have the awareness and they are seeing the advantage, and they are hearing from the peers in other manufacturing companies, like they are seeing the advantages which is coming out of virtual reality. And so this is a big changing trend compared to past 2 years for us. So how we are also convincing decision makers is we try to set up some workshop with end users in the conversation. So when we do workshops like that, the decision makers gets feedback from the end users, and this helps him to make the decision easily. So that is one way we are trying to convince. And also we try to share customer testimonials from other manufacturing companies similar to the areas. And also like when we share details about the big logos we have won as part of a virtual reality customers, this gives them the trust and confidence to make this decision and come into this technology.
We have Hank here today. Hank has 2 daughters that watch Peyton and Aiden, and he had a question about where this fits in. So is it just for manufacturing, or is it available for other industries such as construction, etc.?
Yeah. So this is not just for manufacturing. It is across any industries wherever there is a risky situation involved, or wherever there is a heavy asset equipment, which some training has to be done. So it is applicable across multiple industries. And we work with the manufacturing customers, we work with construction industries, we work with even normal officers for their office safety, like something like fire safety, evacuation procedures, even ergonomics. And also like not only trainings we do certain things like visualizations. We help in the initial designing, prototyping, as well as walkthroughs and creating digital twins. So there are different applications which we are working on in addition to the manufacturing industry's trainings.
Can you dig a little deeper into that area of the process that's involved where you have a company that comes to, because manufacturing is really broad and so is construction. There's different types of manufacturing. There's different processes. Some involve CNC machines, some involve robotics. You mentioned earlier that you go into a facility and you do all these scannings and stuff. So from the time that a company contacts you and says, yes, we want to integrate this into our training program for these processes, what is the turnaround time then for you guys to really come up with something that can be used in virtual reality?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah. So I would say the general procedure or the process we follow is whenever we get a requirement or we get a order signed off with the customer, the first step is to get the business, get the requirements. So we go to the industry and we go to the field and get the requirements. For example, if you want to, for example, recently we did a project where a windmill setup was done. So we go to the field location and we scan. So how the windmill setup, everything is done. So we do all the scanning and we come back and we create something called a storyboard, because these are like I would compare virtual reality something like to creating a movie. Okay, so there should be a story for it, and both should agree on the story. Then only it will create the actual impact for the employees. So we come back and we create a storyboard and a storyline with a kind of a pictures like a comic strip. We create a storybook kind of thing and we take it back to the industries and showcase this is the way we are going to do the step-by-step procedure, and this is what you are going to experience in virtual reality. So once they sign it off, then we go into the development, asset development, 3D assets developments, and also the environment development. So we have different teams to create 3D assets and to recreate the environment. And when after completing this, we have something called developers. So there are different technologies like Unity Engine or Unreal Engine, which can be used for the development for these technologies. We primarily use Unity. So our Unity developers will work with the 3D teams and UX UI teams to come up with the overall interactions with the whatever assets we have created. Once this is created, our quality assurance team will test it and ensure it is meeting the user expectation. And then our client service team will go and give a demo for the customers, and we get the sign off. And then we do a one-day workshop at the client phase to get them used to this technology. And from there on, it's on their own. And we give them the support for next to 1 year. In case of any issues, we do support them.
That's really cool. I like that you use storyboard, because I feel like a lot of people who are into cinematography and videography and like working on the more creative side of things, that would be like the perfect position for them. Ayush commented, 1 second.
Sure.
Can you give more idea on e-learning and workshop on manufacturing and other industries and how to go about it?
I'm not sure like what exactly he means by e-learnings. So in terms of the workshops which we are giving, we try to either do some generic workshop for safety aids.
Okay.
So we organize some workshops, like for example, there are weeks, safety weeks and all, right? So we set up some generic workshops where we call in all the safety aids and ask them to try our product. So this is one way they can experience virtual reality and help us, and then we can go for more specific demos with them. The other way is if there is already interest in the organization, but they are not very sure how to use this technology or are not sure about what use cases they can do for this kind of trainings, then we work with them and try to do a small POCs or a more customized workshop for the industry so that they understand and they see the benefits, and then they go with the next steps of implementing the trainings in the industry.
So throughout your experience with working with Aatral, I'm sure that you guys have learned a lot of lessons along your journey. So what's one lesson you wish you had known at the start of your VR projects?
Yeah, the major there has been a lot of painful lessons as well as good lessons. So one of the main thing is we go to a decision maker, we do a POC, we do a workshop, we explain everything, and finally when it comes to budgets, they will say no, this is not within our budget, or they will with doing a lot of work. So this was one of the painful lessons which learned. So because they will not see the benefits at the initial stage. Once you start using it, they will realize the benefit. But the initial stage, they might not realize the benefit and feel this might not be right for their budgets. So what we do is we say, see, this is the budget requirement which might be required if you are going to do a virtual reality training. So at a minimum, you might have to spend this much amount, and we have some options like a subscription-based models to support even small business customers, not only large manufacturers. So we give all these options, and once they are clear on the budget needs, then we go on to the next steps of workshops, doing POCs. So this way it saves our effort, as well as they also know what to expect out of this, and they can plan the budgets, everything accordingly. So this is one of the lessons which we learned. Another thing, the storyboard creation, as I said, also it's out of lessons we learned, because when we get our training, they will see the requirements, but when they see it in virtual reality, right, after getting the experience, their expectation changes. Initially, the requirement will be like something else, but what they want after seeing the virtual reality will be totally different. So this was a major issue, and we had to do a lot of reworks because of this. So to avoid all this pain, like we ensure like we are giving them the view, like this is what is going to work, to look, it will be looking, and get the approval at the initial stage itself to avoid all these issues.
What advice would you give to manufacturers who are just beginning to explore immersive training tools?
Yeah. My biggest advice is try to go into a consultative approach with the development companies like us. Okay. Try to start small. Don't think like you need to do all the trainings using virtual reality. That is not feasible at all. If you're going to do it, it is a very costly process, and it will not have the real impact which is supposed to have. You need to have the right use cases, and like for example, if you are going to go and work in confined space, so giving a user a training in confined space is very risky. So in those situations, virtual reality will be a right use cases. But there might be some small situations like tightening a small screw. There, virtual reality will be useful, but that impact will not be same as what we are doing it in a confined space situation. So they need to understand what is the right use cases. So all the use cases will not be applicable for virtual reality. We can select the most pain points use cases, and when they implement those, they will see the actual benefits, and it will give them a good return on investment for whatever they made. So we help them, like we go to the industries, we sit with them and try to help them to come up with these use cases. So that is the one piece of advice I give to all the manufacturing industries. So start small, and you will understand the benefits, and then you will also understand like what use cases is best for you after that.
I think that's really good advice. So looking ahead in the future of VR in manufacturing, beyond safety training, where else do you see VR and immersive tech making an impact in manufacturing?
Yeah. So it is not just limited to safety trainings. The safety trainings is just one aspect of it. We also do like VR or XR based operational trainings for employees on a day-to-day job, how to perform a particular operations. For example, in a conveyor belt, how to assemble an engine. So those kind of trainings also we can create using virtual reality or extended reality. And also we have created multiple simulators which are based out of virtual reality. So we have developed crane simulators like UOT, cabin crane, pendant crane, like I could say like a remote like this. So we have a pendant. You might have seen the pendant crane remote, right?
Yeah.
So when you click on the buttons and via the virtual reality device, you can see the movement of crane in the simulated environment. So, but it mimics like the actual thing because it's like actual remote. You're operating the actual buttons. So we can create simulators like this. And the other use case is like a plant visualization. We can create digital twins of an industry so that we can give walkthrough of the space, like how the machineries will be, everything. So those kind of visualizations we can create. And also virtual reality technology helps in remote collaborations as well as remote guidance. The SME need not be present at that particular location to guide an employee on a troubleshooting scenario, something. So these all can be done in the remote, like they can wear the Oculus or they can wear a AR glass. They can see the SME also, or some AI chatbot can guide them what to do next by scanning the machinery. So and the other use case is in terms of inspections. So when they're doing the quality inspections, they can wear the AI glasses. So when we wear the AI glasses and inspecting a particular machinery or a plant, it will have some digital overlays stating like there is a dent here or this part is not proper. So those kind of digital overlays we can do it, which can help in inspections. So these are some of the areas where we can use VR technologies.
I like that. And we have a video that we're going to share with all of you with the crane example. I watched it before we got on live here, and it's super cool. So bear with me. I'm going to pull that video up right now.
Yeah. So this is one of the...
Introducing the Aatral.
Go ahead. I'm going to mute this now.
Yeah, this is a simulation we cater for EOT cranes for the steel industry. Yeah.
This is really cool. So give me 1 second. I'm going to unmute it again.
Toughest environments with precision, safety, and confidence. This isn't just simulation. It's skill building, muscle memory training, engineered for real-world impact. Master hook alignment, load handling, and ladle tilting within a safe, hyper-realistic virtual environment. Train operators in a hyper-realistic cabin environment, mastering skills without disrupting production. Risk-free training, simulate emergencies, load swings, and misalignment. Skill reinforcement, repeat tasks without downtime. Real-world scenarios, ladle handling, billet transfer, HRC, CRC handling, hazardous environment imitation, performance analytics, heat maps of control use, error tracking. VR simulators safely recreate critical failures and emergencies, building operators' crisis handling, decision-making, and muscle memory without risking lives, equipment, or disrupting actual plant operations. We serve industries such as steel production, forging, mining and minerals, ports, oil and gas, chemical industries, heavy manufacturing, recycling plants. Empower your workforce to handle the toughest environments, safely, skillfully, and confidently. With Aatral's virtual reality-based cabin crane simulator, train smarter and operate safer.
I think that's really cool because one of the things that you mentioned earlier too with Generation Z, a word that I hear a lot now within the sector is gamification. And I mentioned too at the beginning of the interview that I went to the arcade with my two boys and they had a virtual reality video game, and you're starting to see it pop up more even in commercial areas where it has nothing to do with engineering manufacturing. So I think it's really cool. With that particular simulation, did you guys help build that small setup where they had the levers and everything? Was that part of your...
Yes, we built the hardware. We built the entire cabin structure with all those levers, everything. It was built by us.
That's so cool. That just seems like a really fun job.
Just
Hank wanted to,
crane.
Hank just wanted to say that his girls say hi. Hi, Payne and Aiden. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. Where do you see immersive tools evolving in the next 5 to 10 years? So virtual reality has been around for quite some time now, and it seems to be coming into this space even more. It's been in the medical space with surgical simulations. I know my daughter has experienced it in nursing at the school that she goes to. So where do you see it going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, as you said, there are multiple industries, be it manufacturing or medical field. Even in the school education, this is going to create a lot of impact. And so I would see, like, even if you hear the recent news, right, companies like Meta, HTC, Apple, everyone was coming up with the smart glasses, which Meta CEO is confidently saying, like, we are going to replace phones with AR glasses. So this is going to be the next big thing. Okay, so with the AR devices, right, it's easy to own. It's not like a bulky VR devices. So that technology, like, you can just wear as a glass in your eyes. It can provide real-time support on the field for the employee. So the SME or an experienced person need not be there to guide them. So when they wear the glass and do the job, it will give them the real-time guidance and support they need. So there will be no loss in productivity due to the SME not available to guide them in that particular situation. The next thing is in terms of remote collaboration. So multiple people at different areas across the globe can look into the same device or some equipment and can discuss and come up with the troubleshooting or prototyping. So those kind of collaboration is going to get more easier with this technology, as well as the overall training time is going to reduce drastically. So currently, what I'm hearing, like 6 months once they do a training of 3 to 4 weeks. So those kind of trainings will get reduced. Like even like 2 weeks of training over a year will be sufficient. Require reskilling for the employee and help them to get onboarded quickly. So these are the. Oh, sorry.
You're fine.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So these are the things I see. I envision like the immersive tools will bring in the next 5 years. So smart glass is going to play a major role.
Do you see it helping with retaining that tribal knowledge too? Because there was some conversation around how are we going to maintain the tribal knowledge once the older generations retire? Is it helping preserve that tribal knowledge that everybody is really worried about losing?
Yeah, this is a major concern. Even as I talked about the survey which was done, right? So 34% of the workforce we are going to lose because they are going to retire from manufacturing industries. So that is a very big percentage, and this has to be replaced with the new resources, and it has to be done in a quick way. So how to retain the knowledge? So we build this content with the help of the SMEs. They are the ones who are reviewing it and guiding us in this creation process. So the knowledge, even though the employee has left the organization, is retained in this digital formats, which is easier for anyone to learn from it. And with the AI tools, like we can create a lot of chatbots with all the documentation which is already existing in the industry. So the persons, they don't have to go through very big documents to do your troubleshooting scenarios. An AI chatbot within the smart glass or the virtual reality device will help you when you talk and ask a question. It will come up with it will refer all the documents and come up with the solution for it. So the knowledge will be retained easily, and the dependencies on SMEs will go down. It's not going to replace again. It's just the SMEs will have more time to focus on the issues and take the organization to the next level rather than spending time on small troubleshooting issues, which others new resource can handle it better.
That's really cool. Well, Revathi, this has been a great conversation, and I'm super excited to see how you guys continue to grow as a company and what sort of solutions you're helping manufacturers with outside of training as well too, because it seems like VR is not going anywhere, and we're going to see more creative ways on how it's being integrated into this sector. Is there anything else that you want to touch on or conclude on before I let you go for the weekend?
Sure. Yeah, I just want to do a quick recap. So first thing is XR is for everyone. It's not just for Gen Z employees, or not just. It can be even boomers or any old people, or anyone can use it. It's very easy to use, so no need to worry about the technology. And second thing is, it is not expensive. So once you see the benefits, you realize it. The cost of making it is not it's tenfolds to the benefits which we are going to achieve out of it. So it is not expensive at all. And also it is going to bring in a lot of behavior related changes, lot of betterment in the PP adherence, everything. And it is proven from the PwC survey results, like 70% of the knowledge will be retained because of virtual reality trainings. So to summarize, there's a lot of advantages. So I would I will have a call to action for the manufacturing customers, or companies, like start small, take a consultative approach, try some use cases which are very high risky, or which involves a heavy equipment. So try it out, then you will realize the benefit, and we are here to help on that.
Awesome. Well, Revathi, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really grateful that you took some time out of your day to talk about virtual reality and Aatral. Is there any shows that are coming up in engineering or manufacturing where people can stop by your booth maybe and check out the technology or try it out? Or what's the best way for them to reach out to you and connect with you if they have any questions?
On September 10th, I'm doing a workshop, an in-person workshop for safety heads in Bay Area. That is in Doubletree, Hilton. Maybe I can share you the details.
Yes, please do.
So that is an in-person workshop. Anyone is free to attend. It is done part of the ASPP Association, American Safety Professional Association. So they are organizing this event. So you can come and try our solutions in person in Bay Area.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Revathi. I appreciate you. For anyone tuning in, please connect with her on LinkedIn. I will be creating a recap article for next week, and I will have all of her contact information within that article, and even information on that September 10th workshop. So Revathi, thank you so much again. I hope you have a great weekend, and it was really nice chatting with you. I'm going to take you off the stage so that I can talk about some of these links that I need to share with the audience. But I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. Happy weekend to everyone. Thank you.
So everyone tuning in, I really want to say thank you for coming by and watching Mavens of Manufacturing. I really appreciate your support and your encouragement. I did want to take some time at the end of this episode to share some important information. So one, if you are a fan of Mavens of Manufacturing, you probably know and are well aware of my friendship with Nikki Gonzalez and my sisterhood with the Automation Ladies. Recently, Nikki Gonzalez shared some news that she lost her husband, and I believe in the strength of our manufacturing community. So I just wanted to get on here and share some links. If you want to help her out, there are a few places that you can go. You can contribute a meal to Nikki and her kids. I know as a single mom, making dinner can be a tremendous task. And sometimes if we don't have to do that, it's very helpful for us. So during this time, if you could contribute a meal, there's a link to that. You can also help take care of some of those expenses for her if you want to donate. That's the second link here. And then you can find some more information at the last link. I will share these links in the comments section of this post, so that will be available to you. The other thing I wanted to talk about is if you are part of the CNC machining community, you should be aware of Brian Warren. He is a CNC machining instructor, and he does not get paid enough for the things that he does as a teacher. That's just my opinion. I don't think teachers get paid enough for their skill set, but he has been sharing his son Jake's story for the past 2 years. Jake has been battling cancer, and recently they had a very scary situation. He's not out of the woods yet. He is asking for prayers, but also he has a GoFundMe page, and every little bit counts. So I am reaching out to all of my followers to see if you can donate what you can to these two causes. So these links will be in the comments section. Every little bit counts. I strongly believe that the manufacturing and engineering community is the best community out there. And I just admire these two individuals. Nikki is a fantastic human being, and so is Brian Warren. They do a lot for the manufacturing community, and they're just good overall human beings. And I think we need more positive energy in our space. So if you guys can please check those links out after the show. I do want to say thank you to all of the comments. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys offering your comments in the comments section. But I hope you all have a really great weekend. If you are a brand struggling to share your story, tune into this sponsored message. Sometimes manufacturing needs better storytellers, and Z Inc. Solution is here to help you share your story. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you at FabTech. If you're going to be at FabTech, let me know, connect with me. I would love to hear your story and maybe even help share it. So take care of one another, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone. This episode of Mavens of Manufacturing has been sponsored by Z Inc. Solutions. Z Inc. Solutions. This isn't your grandmother's copywriting service. We provide copywriting and copy editing services that provide impactful text and memorable storytelling for a variety of brands and industries. Contact us today at zincSolutions.com. That's z-incsolutions.com.